Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel Online Study for You, a complete placement solution. So today in this video, we will discuss pattern of TCS IPA exam, which is scheduled on 7th of November for 2024 batch. After that, we will solve Java question. This is important for all of you who are preparing, as exam will have mix of both MCQ as well as coding question. Total marks for examination will be of 100. Now, let's break down the exam pattern. So, talking about the coding part, basically you will have two questions and you will have to code in Java. This is language specific exam. So, first question will consist of 15 marks and second question will consist of 35 marks. Based on previous IPA examination, most probably 15-mark coding question will consist questions based on arrays and string. 35-mark coding question will be focused on object-oriented programming concepts. You will have MCQ question as well along with the coding question. Basically, there will be no negative mark for incorrect answer. So this gives you freedom to attempt every question without worrying about losing your marks. Based on previous exam pattern, you can switch between coding section and the MCQ section at any time. For example, if you feel confident about solving the coding part first, and here you can see also that solving one coding question will give you 15 as well as 35 marks. So if you are confident about your coding part, then you can start with that also, and after solving coding question, then you can move to MCQ later. Basically, you can switch sections. And if you prefer starting with MCQs, you can do that. And then after that, you can tackle coding questions. Basically, you will have control over the order in which you want to solve the sections. So, talking about the MCQ, basically it covers all the topics from TCS Explore courses. Here you can see Java has more priority as there will be 15 questions of 15 marks. After that, you have UI and question of SQL and PLSQL. There will be 10 question of UI and there will be 10 question based on PL and SQL. Each question will consist of 1 marks. These are MCQ questions. And after that, you have questions from section, that is KYT, Build Skill and Unix. You will have 5 question of each section. Now here you know the structure. So let's move and let's solve coding question in Java. So question here is, given two string S and T, return true if T is an anagram of S and false otherwise. So basically problem statement here is, we are given two strings S and T. We need to check that if T is an anagram of S. If it is, then return true, otherwise return false. Now, what is anagram? So anagram of a string is another string that contain same characters, but order of characters can be different. In simple term, like suppose take a string S, take it as listen. Now take a string T and take it as silent. Now check it here. L is present in both the string. I is present in both the string, S is present in both the string, T is also present, E is also present, N is also present. And here you can check that length of S and length of T is same. That is 6 for S, 6 for T. So here we can see that both string S and T have same characters, but order of character are different. So we can say here that T is anagram of S. Similarly, take another example. Take a string S as act. Take a string T as this one. Similarly, you can see here that both S and T have same character but orders are different. So we can say that T is anagram of S. Similarly, here you can see in the example string S and string T. Here both have same character but order is different, so output is true. Check for example number 2. S is rat and T is car. Here again you can see that character A is common between both. R character is also common in S and T. Length of S and T is same, but T is a character that is present in S, but T character is not present in T. Similarly, there is C character which is not present in S. So we can say they are not anagrams. So output will be false. Now, to solve this question, first let's erase it. To solve this question, the brute force approach of this problem will be, firstly we will check that if length of two strings are same or not. If they are not, like length of S and length of T is different, suppose. So if they are different, it is obvious that they can't be anagrams. And in this case, we will return false. Because for strings to be anagram, no new character should be added or no character should be removed. That is, length of both strings should be same. Now, after that, if length match, our next step will be to convert both strings into character arrays. We will then sort these arrays so that characters appear in the same order for both strings. Finally, we will compare the sorted arrays. If they are equal, the two strings are anagram and we will return true. Otherwise, return false. So let's take an example here. Let's take string S. We are taking example number 1. So let's take string S as anagram as given in the question. Let's pick string T as it is. Now, check length of S and length of T. So here you can see length of S is 7 and length of T is 7. Since lengths are equal, we will proceed to next step. So for this, you can write a if condition where you can check that if S dot length not equal to T dot length, then return false. But in this scenario, in this example case, lengths are same, so we will proceed to next step. Our next step should be convert to character arrays. That is, convert both strings into character arrays. So for this, we will write our code as char. Let's take name as S array for string S. Then we will write our string name is S. So we will write S dot to char array. So this will convert our string S to character array. Similarly, for string T, we will write this one. Then we will write T dot to char array. Now, after this, we will sort both arrays and we will check. So for this, we will write arrays dot sort S array. Similarly, we will write arrays dot sort T array. Now we will sort both array. So let's start sorting. So after sorting, our S array will be like A. A is 1, 2, 3 times. So A character, then A, again there will be A, then after that G will be there. So G, then M, and then N, and then R. So N, wait a minute, and then R. Similarly, you can sort T array. When you will sort T array also, you will find that both S array and T array are identical after sorting. So this will confirm that they are anagrams. Now let's see code for this question. So here is the code. Here we have solution class. In this solution class, we have this main method. Now we create an instance for solution class. This will allow us to access the isAnagram method. Here you can see isAnagram method. So this will allow us to access the isAnagram method. We then create a scanner class object to read input from the user. Now we will prompt the user to enter the first and second strings. So for first string, we have used system.out.println to display message on the console. Then user input are captured here using this sc.nextLine and stored in the variable s. Now again we have system.out.println and this will print in the console, enter the second string. Again user will enter second string using sc.nextLine. So now we will have both a string. Now here is anagram method will be called and these strings s and t will be passed as arguments. This will store in a boolean variable, name it as result, which indicate that whether two strings are anagram or not. Now here is, wait a minute, so here is anagram method. Here you can see is anagram method. In this method, firstly we will check length of strings. If length of strings are equal, then we will proceed. If strings length are not equal, then we will return false. Here you can see we are using if condition for this. We are checking that if s.length not equal to t.length, then return false. Now, next is we will convert both string into character array using this toChar array. We then sort both array using arrays.sort method. And finally, we will compare sorted character array. Here, we are using arrays.equals method. Now, this will compare both S and T array and it will return true if they are equal and it will return false if they are not equal. Now, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you can't remember this arrays.equals method, we can still compare two arrays using simple loop. Let's take a look at how this can be done. So here is the another way if you will forgot arrays.equal method. So for this, first initialize two index variable, index s and index t, both starting at 0. These variables will help us keep a track of our current position as we iterate through both arrays. We also store length of array here in a variable length, as length of S array and T array will be same, so you can take any among them. Next, we set up a while loop here. So here is a while loop that continues as long as both indices are less than the length of arrays. So this will ensure that we don't go out of the bound. Inside the loops, we compare the characters at the current indices for both arrays. If characters are not equal, we immediately return false here, and this will indicate that strings are not anagram. If characters are equal, then we increment both indices here to move on to the next character in each array. After the loop, if we have found that there is no difference, then return true. This means all character matched and strings are anagram. Finally, we will check values of result. Here you can see. So for this, let's erase this first. So finally, you can check values of result. If it is true, we will print message saying the strings are anagram. Otherwise, we print that they are not. So this was our first brute force method. Now let's solve this question using second approach. Now for second approach, again initially we will check length of strings. If the two strings have different length, then they can't be anagrams, so we will return false immediately. Now let's take an example. Let's take example number 2. So in example number 2, S is rat and T is car. Now length of a string S is 3, length of a string T is 3. Both have same length, so we will proceed. Now we will create a array and let's name it as a frequency array. So now we will create an array and name it as a frequency array. So for this, we will write int, this is array, and before this we will put a if condition and we will check that if s dot length not equal to t dot length, then we will return false. After that, we are creating frequency array. So int frequency, you will write here int frequency, this is the name of an array, is equal to new int and size will be 26. Why 26 size and why we are creating this frequency array? Here you can see in this constraint section that S and T consist of lowercase English letters, and we know that in English for lowercase there are 26 lowercase English letters. So there are 26 lowercase English letter. So we will create frequency array of size 26. And then we will count how many times each letter appeared in first string, and then we will subtract how many times it appeared in second string. For each character in a first string S, we will increment its corresponding index in the frequency array. And for each character in second string T, we will decrement its corresponding index in the frequency array. Basically, this will create a frequency array of size 26. So you can say that our frequency array will look like this, and this will be of 26 size. Now, take a variable int length. This will store size of our string. Since size is same, so we can do s dot length, or you can also do t dot length. Now traverse both string and update this frequency array. So for this we will start a for loop that will start from int I is equal to 0. It will go till I less than len and then I plus plus. And this, to get a character from string s, here you can write char, name this as chars, is equal to s dot char at I. So basically we will get character from string s. Now here we can see at 0 index in string s we have character r. So for r from string s, its index in frequency array, we can calculate it through r minus a, and value will be 17. So basically here you can say that in frequency array at 17, now we will do plus plus. So now at 17 it will become 1. Now for T string, as we know, for each character in first string S, we will increment its corresponding index, and for each character in string T, we will decrement the corresponding index in the frequency array. So at 0 index in string T, we have C. So for this, we will do C minus A, and that will be 2. So here you can say that frequency at second index, here you will do minus minus. So initially it was 0, then 0 minus 1, it will be minus 1. So you can say that our frequency array will look like, there will be 0 at 0 index, 0 at 1 index. Then here you can see at second index it should be minus 1. So it will be minus 1. Then again there will be 0, again there will be 0. And at 17 index, it will be now changed from 0 to 1. So similarly at 17 index, it will be 1, and then again 0, 0 till 26. So our frequency array will look like this. Now this was our first iteration, that is at I is equal to 0. Now we will move ahead to I is equal to 1. So here s dot char at 1 is A, and t dot char at 1 is A. Here both s and t character is A. So its index in frequency array is, for s you will increment its index, and for t you will decrement its index. So basically effectively they will cancel each out. So frequency will not change, it will remain unchanged. Now for iteration 3, that is for I is equal to 2. So for second index in string s, there is t. So s dot char at 2 will be t, and similarly t dot char at 2 is r. Here you can see r. So for t from s, we can write its index in frequency array as t minus a. This will be 19. So you can write frequency at 19 index will be increased. So we will write plus plus. So initially it was 0. Now it will become 1 for string t. So here let's see in string t we have r. So for r from string t, its index will be r minus a, that will be 17. Now we can write frequency in frequency array at 17, it will be minus minus. So it will become Initially, you can see here in our frequency array at 17 index, it was 1. Now here it will be minus minus. So 1 minus 1, this will be 0. So let's update our frequency array. Here, what are changes? Here at 19 index, it become 1. So this was 17, 18. Suppose this will be 19. Let's index it. This is second index. This is 17 index. This is 19 index. Now again at 17 index, we have changes. That is 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So in 17 index, it will again change to 0. So this is our frequency array. This is our frequency array. So after processing both string, program will check that if all values in the frequency arrays are 0 or not. If they are 0, meaning that character count from both string matched exactly. And if they are not, that means they are not anagram. In this case, here we can see that frequency at second index is -1 and frequency at 19 index is 1. So not all values are 0. That means this program return false, means that strings are not anagram. So for this, in your code, you will write for int I is equal to 0, I less than 26, I plus plus, if frequency, this is your array, na? Frequency at ith index in frequency array, it is not equal to 0, then we will return false. That is, they are not anagrams. So here, the string S and T. So here we can say that T is not anagram of S. So here is code for our second approach. So here we have answer class. In this answer class, here we have main method. In this, create a scanner class object to take input. Then we have printed in console using system.out.println, that is enter first string. Then using sc.nextLine, user will input string S. Again using system.out.println, we printed in console, that is enter second string. Again user will enter second string, that we will store in T. Now create a object for answer class and call, here we are calling is anagram method. So let's see what is anagram method, what it is doing. Here is anagram method. This is basically used to check that two strings are anagram or not. Here is string S and here is string T. Then initially we will check that if length of two strings are not same, then we will return false here. Now here we are creating frequency array of 26 size. Here we have length variable that will store length of string S. As we know that length of string S and T will be same, so we can do S dot length or you can also do T dot length. Now traverse both string and update the frequency array. So for this we are starting for loop. Now we loop through both the string at the same time. For every character in the string S, we increment its count in the frequency array. So here we are incrementing the count in the frequency array. And for every character in string T, we are decrementing its count. We calculate the index of character in array using here chars minus a. For example, if suppose chars, this chars is a, then a minus a, this will be 0. So this means that this will correspond to index 0. Similarly, suppose chars is B. Now, B minus A, this will be 1. This means this will correspond to index 1 and so on. By incrementing and decrementing, we are essentially counting the characters from both string and ensuring that they match. After processing both string, we check the frequency array. If any value in the array is non-zero, so wait a minute. So let's erase this. Basically, here we are checking our frequency array, and if any value in the array is non-zero, it means that one of the string has more of the particular character than other. So they cannot be anagrams. If all values in frequency array are 0, then two strings have same characters in the same quantities and we return true. That means they are anagram. So here it check that if this result is true, that means strings are anagrams, and if not, that means they are not anagram. That's all for today. In the next video, I will cover 35 marks coding question as well as MCQ question. Just let me know in the comments below if you want me to prepare a video for that. Until then, keep practicing and I will see you in the next video. Good luck.